Picture this. You're holding a digital asset that promises financial freedom, but then, boom, it vanishes in a shady exchange collapse like FTX in 2022. The chaos is over in Europe. Welcome to Demystifying MiCA, Europe's new crypto framework explained. I'm your guide through this game-changing regulation that's taming the crypto Wild West. Stick around to learn how it protects you and sparks innovation. First, a disclaimer. This video is for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. If you would like personalized guidance, you can contact our team or other qualified professionals. First, a bit about me. I hold a master's degree in law from the University of Ljubljana and founded Kyroptera Consulting, a Slovenia-based legal office. With extensive experience in crypto law, international sales of goods, tax law, and AI-based SaaS law. I've helped businesses navigate everything from MiCA compliance to GDPR pitfalls. So, today we will be breaking down the MiCA regulation. The Markets in Crypto Assets, MiCA, regulation is the EU's bold answer to tame the crypto Wild West frontier. As of December 2024, MiCA fully applies across Europe, with some provisions kicking in from June 2024. This EU crypto framework marks a pivotal shift, creating uniform rules for crypto assets, issuers, and service providers. Why does MiCA matter? It prioritizes transparency, investor protection, and market integrity in a sector worth trillions. No longer will fragmented national laws create confusion. MiCA ensures a single playground for innovation and safety. For businesses in cryptocurrency or SaaS AI ventures touching blockchain, understanding this regulation avoids pitfalls and unlocks opportunities. This video demystifies the MiCA regulation. We'll explore EU legislation basics, crypto asset classification, issuer requirements, service provider rules, supervision, and future outlook. By the end, you'll grasp how this EU crypto framework fosters stable growth while shielding users. Ready to decode the code? Let's dive in. Basics of EU legislation. Ever wondered why EU laws feel like a puzzle with missing pieces in different countries? The European Union crafts rules to bind 27 member states seamlessly. At its core, EU legislation comes in two main flavors: regulations and directives. Understanding this distinction is key to grasping MiCA regulation's power. A regulation like MiCA acts as a binding law that applies directly and uniformly across all EU countries. No national tweaks needed, it drops into place immediately, ensuring everyone plays by the same rules. As stated in the Treaty on the Functioning of the European Union, TFEU, Article 288, a regulation shall have general application, it shall be binding in its entirety and directly applicable in all member states. This means the MiCA regulation EU crypto framework enforces consistent standards without delay. Member states handle day-to-day supervision, but they can't alter the core text. This uniformity prevents regulatory arbitrage where firms shop for lax jurisdictions. In contrast, a directive sets broad goals that each country must achieve, but it leaves room for national flexibility in implementation. Countries translate directives into local laws, often leading to variations. For example, the Anti-Money Laundering Directive, AMLD, requires member states to combat illicit finance but allows tailored approaches. Directives suit areas needing cultural adaptation, like labor laws. MiCA's regulation status is a game changer for crypto assets regulation. Adopted on 31st May 2023, as Regulation EU 2023/1114, it is directly applicable and binding in the landscape from Portugal to Poland. Why choose a regulation here? Crypto's borderless nature demands it. Trades happen instantly across frontiers, so patchwork rules breed risks. Under MiCA, issuers of asset reference tokens or e-money tokens face the same white paper requirements everywhere. National authorities like France's AMF or Germany's BaFin enforce it but report to EU bodies for oversight. This setup boosts investor protection efforts in crypto. Firms gain a passport to operate EU-wide after one authorization. Yet challenges arise. Smaller states might lack resources for robust supervision. Still, MiCA's direct applicability streamlines compliance, cutting costs for crypto service providers. Pro tip: if you're a startup eyeing EU expansion, prioritize MiCA compliance early. It's your ticket to seamless market access. Key benefit: uniformity reduces legal uncertainty, encourages innovation in stablecoins under EU regulation. As we unpack MiCA, remember, this framework isn't just rules, it's Europe's blueprint for trustworthy digital finance. Classification of crypto assets and scope. What if your digital token isn't just crypto, but a specific type with unique rules? MiCA's genius lies in its clear classification, tailoring oversight to risks. This EU crypto framework divides crypto assets into 3 buckets: e-money tokens, asset reference tokens, and other crypto assets. Each gets bespoke treatment under the Markets in Crypto Asset Regulation. First, e-money tokens, EMTs. These are crypto assets designed for payments pegged to a single official currency, like the euro, to hold steady value. Article 3, paragraph 1.7 of MiCA defines them as a type of crypto asset that purports to maintain a stable value by referencing the value of one official currency. Think digital euros, stable and exchange-friendly. EMT issuers must secure authorization akin to electronic money institutions, ensuring reserves match issued tokens. Next, asset reference tokens, or ARTs. These stabilize their value by referencing other assets or basket of assets, not just fiat currencies. According to Article 3, paragraph 1.6, a type of crypto asset that is not an electronic money token and that purports to maintain a stable value by referencing another value or right or a combination thereof, including one or more official currencies. Examples include tokens backed by gold or a mix of commodities. Significant ARTs, those exceeding a 5 billion euro market cap or posing systematic risks, face extra scrutiny from the European Banking Authority, EBA. The regulation emphasizes reserve assets and redemption rights to protect holders. The catch-all: other crypto assets. These cover utility tokens for services or pure speculation plays, like Bitcoin. They lack stability claims but must still publish white papers for public offers over 1 million euros. MiCA's crypto assets regulation here focuses on transparency without full banking-like burdens. But MiCA isn't all-encompassing. It excludes the following: crypto assets already covered under other EU laws, such as financial instruments under MiFID, for example, security tokens, unique non-fungible assets such as NFTs used for art or collectibles, unless they mimic securities. Article 2, paragraph 3 states this regulation does not apply to crypto assets that are unique and not fungible with other crypto assets. Next exclusion is digital assets issued by central banks acting in their monetary authority capacity, including central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, as well as crypto assets issued by other public authorities. Next exemption focuses on certain providers, such as those offering services exclusively within their corporate group, liquidators in insolvency proceedings, or public international organizations. Note: Providers offering advice on crypto assets are generally regulated under MiCA, even without custody, unless they fall under a specific exclusion. This scope balances innovation with investor protection in crypto. Fully decentralized DeFi protocols or pure NFTs often fall outside of MiCA, but hybrids should be cautious. Misclassification can lead to fines. For SaaS or AI firms integrating blockchain, classify assets early to comply with MiCA's whitepaper requirements. Practical tip: audit your token's purpose. If it has a stability pack, it's likely an EMT or an ART. Watch out! Borders blur. A utility token acting like a stablecoin could trigger ART rules. MiCA's classifications demystify chaos, paving a clear path in the EU crypto framework. Requirements for issuers and offerers. Issuing a crypto asset? Under MiCA, it's not a free-for-all. The regulation lays out strict duties for issuers and offerers to safeguard markets. This section unpacks this, distinguishing by asset type in accordance with the MiCA regulation. All issuers must publish a white paper before public offers or admissions to trading, unless exempted, for example, for offers below 1 million euros over a 12-month period, or offering only to qualified investors. Article 8 mandates notification of the white paper to the competent authority at least 20 working days before its publication, with the white paper itself published before the start of the offer or admission. It details the project, risks, and rights. Think of it as a crypto prospectus of sorts. No prior approval is needed for other assets, but misinformation triggers civil liability for any losses incurred by holders. Issuers can face administrative fines for infringements related to false or misleading claims, up to 700,000 euros for natural persons or 5 million euros or 5% of turnover for legal entities, though criminal penalties like imprisonment are determined by member states and not directly specified in MiCA. For asset reference tokens, ARTs, hurdles rise. Issuers must seek authorization from the competent authority or operate as a credit institution, covering governance, reserves, segregated and liquid, and conflict management. Article 32 requires that issuers of asset reference tokens must adopt, implement, and maintain effective policies and procedures to identify, prevent, manage, and disclose conflicts of interest. Any such disclosure must be prominently placed on the issuer's website. Reserves must match or exceed the value of the circulating tokens, which is audited every 6 months. What about redemption? Holders have a permanent right to redeem at market value anytime. In normal times, without any fees. In times of recovery, with fees which are required to be reasonable and proportionate. E-money tokens, EMTs, mirror this but reference one fiat currency. Issuers must be authorized as a credit institution or e-money institution with full reserves in the pegged currency. No interest payments are allowed, reinforcing their payment focus. What about significant status? If an ART or an EMT meets criteria like an average value exceeding 5 billion euros over 12 months or posing risks to financial stability, the EBA takes over supervision as per Article 43. This includes stress tests and recovery plans. General rules apply across the board. Manage conflicts, ensure fair marketing, and notify authorities of changes. Offerers, those selling on behalf of issuers, share liability. Small offers under 1 million euros over 12 months or to qualified investors only skip white papers, easing entry for startups. In practice, this fosters investor protection in crypto. A Slovenian firm issuing stablecoins compliant with EU regulation gains trust, attracting EU capital. What about non-compliance? fines up to 12.5% of turnover for certain infringements involving art or significant tokens. Now for a quick compliance checklist. Draft white papers, check. Reverse segregated, verify. Conflicts disclosed, essential. Now for another insight. For international sales of goods via tokens, align with MiCA to avoid tax law clashes. MiCA's issuer rules build a fortress around crypto assets regulation, balancing access with accountability. Rules for crypto asset service providers. Who handles your crypto, trades or custody? Crypto asset service providers, CASPs, do. And MiCA regulates them rigorously. This EU crypto framework demands authorization, operations, and safeguards to prevent mishaps like exchange hacks. CASPs include exchanges, wallets, advisors, even those placing orders. Article 3, paragraph 1.15 defines them as a legal person or other undertaking whose occupation or business is the provision of one or more crypto asset services to clients on a professional basis and that is allowed to provide crypto asset services in accordance with Article 59. What are the requirements? Sound governance, capital buffers, at least 50,000 to 150,000 euros based on service, and adequate arrangements for security for custody. Client protection in crypto is paramount. CASPs must segregate client assets, offer fair execution, and handle complaints via internal processes or ombudsman. Anti-money laundering, AML, ties in. Full KYC, transaction monitoring as per AMLR. Crypto asset service providers must comply with all applicable AML obligations as per EU law. What about market abuse prevention? No insider dealing or manipulation. Article 89 prohibits using inside information to trade in crypto assets or to recommend or induce another person to trade. CASPs report suspicions to authorities. Depending on the services provided, specifics vary. For example, custody firms need tax safeguards against hacks. Trading platforms ensure orderly markets. What about outsourcing? It is allowed, but with oversight. But certain exclusions apply. These cover banks or non-EU firms not targeting Europe. Supervision is also split. National authorities grant licenses, ESMA oversees registers, and EBA handles prudential rules. Best practices include implementing robust AML. It's non-negotiable for crypto service providers. Opportunity. Authorized CASPs thrive in the stablecoins EU regulation era. These rules turn CASPs into trusted gatekeepers. Supervision, enforcement, and recent implementation developments. Who watches the watchers in crypto? MiCA's supervisory net ensures fair play. National competent authorities, NCAs, lead enforcement, with ESMA and EBA providing EU-level guidance. This layered approach upholds the MiCA regulation's integrity. ESMA focuses on markets, issuing guidelines on governance, competence, and abuse prevention. For instance, July 2025's final report on knowledge assessment sets staff training standards. EBA oversees stablecoins with joint guidance on shareholder suitability. And who has enforcement powers? NCAs investigate, impose fines, or revoke licenses, while transparency is empowered by ESMA's register as per Article 109. On the abuse prevention frontier, insider dealing bans carry up to 4-year sentences, while manipulation probes are powered by data analytics. Nevertheless, challenges persist. There are risks of resource gaps in smaller states. Yet, a December 2025 ESMA and EBA review will assess effectiveness. This framework evolves, blending enforcement with innovation. Conclusion. MiCA's EU crypto framework has reshaped Europe's digital asset landscape since full rollout in December 2024 by classifying crypto assets from e-money tokens to asset reference tokens and imposing whitepaper requirements. It champions transparency and investor protection in crypto. Issuers and crypto service providers now operate under unified rules, curbing risks while spurring innovation. The European Commission must monitor MiCA's impact on markets periodically. ESMA and EBA's annual reports track market shifts, ensuring adaptability. Looking ahead, integration with the European Single Access Point (ESAP) by July 2027 centralizes disclosures, boosting MiCA whitepaper requirements visibility. What are the challenges MiCA faces? Firstly, there are implementation lags in some states which contest uniformity. Yet, forward insights gleam. MiCA could inspire global standards, blending tax law and international sales of goods in blockchain trade. For stakeholders, it's a call to comply and innovate responsibly. As crypto matures, MiCA stands as a beacon, secure, unified, and forward-thinking. What role will you play in this evolving EU crypto framework? If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please consider giving it a like, sharing it with friends, and subscribing for more updates. Alternatively, if you're craving more legal content, you can dive deeper into our Knowledge Center using the link in the description below. Thank you for your time.